It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Jane Pauley.
That's actor Andrew McCarthy winning Molly Ringwald's heart in the romantic final scene of the 1986 teen classic Pretty in Pink. He's gone through a lot of changes since then, as he tells our Jim Axelrod.
I lived here in this one, early mid-'80s. So
if, as the wise man said, you live your life going forward but understand it looking backward,
So I was here for St. Elmo's Fire, Pretty in Pink, Mannequin.
then Andrew McCarthy is understanding a lot more about his life these days.
You don't lie, do you?
I don't have to lie.
The actor, who starred in a string of 80s movies, is out with a book published by Simon & Schuster Australia, part of Viacom CBS, examining the years this charter member of the Brat Pack was just getting started.
I wanted to take you home, but they wouldn't let me.
Hitting it big on the West Coast,
I literally found my mattress right there across the street on the corner when I moved in, and I just dragged it upstairs.
while still living the life of a starving artist in Greenwich Village. Overnight, he was walking the red carpet and not always handling things very well, like at the premiere of Pretty in Pink with co-star James Spader.
Absolutely.
I was completely drunk. It's my first premiere of a movie. My name comes up on the screen. I just got up and left and went to the bar across the street and got drunk.
McCarthy, born 58 years ago in Westfield, New Jersey, was pulled to acting in high school. Next was NYU, where a teacher warned him to master his craft and not rely on charisma.
When she says to you, if you keep smiling like that, you're going to charm us all, and it's going to
It'll
be
be your
downfall.
downfall. But what's interesting about that is that I was like, yeah, your downfall. Who cares if you like me and you want me to keep going? You know what I mean? So I really did want that.
Very nice to meet you, Mrs. Burroughs.
He kept going, catching lightning in a bottle cast opposite Jacqueline Bisset in the movie Class before he was 20. Knowing he was new to the business, the then 38-year-old international sex symbol invited McCarthy to stay at her home in the Hollywood Hills.
When we're talking about things that were happening to you that weren't happening to other 20-year-olds.
That would be one of them. That would definitely be one of them.
No, Andrew McCarthy was not living the life of your average 20-something, as he writes about one interaction with Bisset when he was lying down in her den and she approached.
She kissed me once deeply.
Oh, that. Oh, now you're just going for just right for trash.
I am asking the question the 15-year-old me would want to know the answer to.
Just one time, it was one of those adolescent fantasies that just happened, and that just happened.
Quick, what's the meaning of life?
It may have just been one kiss, but McCarthy was getting the idea. Life was changing. 2 years later, when St. Elmo's Fire came out, he knew it for sure.
If you were a New York actor, you were a New York actor. But the second the Brat Pack happened, that went out the window and I was Brat Packer.
An article in New York Magazine profiled a group of actors they called the Brat Pack. Judd Nelson, Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, among others. And it wasn't complimentary.
This wasn't the Rat Pack. This wasn't
wasn't
Sammy.
cool dudes. This was a bunch of little punks who thought they were hot stuff.
Airbrushed off the cover, Andrew McCarthy was making acquaintance with a feeling that's been with him when thinking about the Brat Pack for the last 35 years. Ambivalence.
At first, when I saw the cover, I was like, wait, I'm in that picture. And then I read the article and went, thank God I'm not in that picture.
From there, it was on to Pretty in Pink and the male lead, Blaine, opposite Molly Ringwald.
We just got these glasses and...
They weren't interested in me auditioning for the part because it was written for a square-jawed, hulking quarterback stud dude. And I read with Molly, and they went, okay, thank you. And when I walked out, Molly, turned to John Hughes and said, that's the guy. And John Hughes is like, that wimp? And he's like, no, he's sensitive, he's poetic. That's the kind of guy I'd fall for. That changed my life. Molly changed my life.
Hi.
It was all happening so quickly, too quickly, to feel that he'd earned it. The words of his teacher at NYU echoed painfully.
I didn't know who I was yet. And so then suddenly stuff is coming at you. And so you either ride that or you recoil from it, or you kind of go, well, I'm faking it or I'm fooling,
His struggle played out under bright lights on about the biggest stage there is. At the 75th anniversary of Paramount Pictures in 1987, He was alongside Charlton Heston, Burt Lancaster, Olivia de Havilland, Jimmy Stewart.
Gregory Peck. There's Andy over in the corner.
And not thinking for even a split second that he belonged.
And the publicist kept coming up, do you want to meet somebody? Do you want to? I said, well, I'd like to meet Jimmy Stewart. You know, I mean, who wouldn't want to meet? So they brought me over to Jimmy Stewart, and I said, Mr. Stewart, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. No, my pleasure, Andrew. But I remember him looking right in my eye, and his sort of watery blue eyes, and I knew I was projecting at the time, this sort of disappointment and shame as he looked at me. And it was exactly what I felt about myself. And there's Tom Cruise in a bright red sweater, center third row, standing there like this in the photo. And I just go, wow. I just never was that guy. I could never in a million years been in that red sweater, standing in the third row. I'm not that person. I didn't ever want to be that person.
In the years since, Andrew McCarthy has learned what kind of person he is. One happier behind the camera, directing TV shows like Orange is the New Black and The Blacklist.
I always say directing is stressful and acting causes anxiety. I'd rather be under stress than feel anxiety from within. And I have every actor anxiety that there is, so when I see it in another actor, I'm able to disarm it quickly because I'm like, dude, I know.
Which has finally left him ready to explore the journey he's taken over the last 4 decades.
People over the years have said, would you want to write a book about the Brat Pack? And I was always like, no. I mean, before the sentence was done, I was like, no. And someone, again, recently mentioned, would you consider writing a book about the Brat Pack? And I went, huh, yeah. You know, you kind of want to be free of all this stuff. I mean, I'm no longer, you know, young. And so why keep running from my youth?
Andrew McCarthy is no longer running, choosing instead to make peace with a group he'd never aspired to join.
We're here talking because I was in the Brat Pack. Had I been in a bunch of those same movies and the Brat Pack, quote unquote, didn't exist, quote unquote, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
And make peace with himself.
Like, I did just fine. With who I was and who I am, I did just fine.
That's a lovely place to get to in life.
Well, I mean, you know, we get so old. But to come to some kind of peace with what happened, so that's why, you know, we talked so long ago, and to have dragged it around to finally look under the rock and go, you know what, it's okay.
Did just fine.
It's just fine. Yeah.